Come down.
Please indicate upstairs for the front part or the second floor. That's it, right? That's for the house. Okay. Okay, okay, so that's good. Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
She put a questionnaire for everybody. Oh. Times they actually heard me.
Look at my little. Coming out, coming out. Late. It's supposed to get like. 9:45. That was 9:45, and then it's supposed to be 10:15. Wow. Because it was so late. And then after they said 4:32. And then about the 60, you know. You did. I didn't get in trouble. It was about 60, yeah. But the next 15, 60, I did not get in that court. And so we still went downstairs and I even was not going to have this kind of thing. And he was going to see. That's right. So your And look on the corner of the building. And give your friends, put a pressure that will go back out and put this one in for mama here. You want to put it in there. And she will do it. We will definitely gonna get it on. We're running it up.
Yeah, I got your back. I'll see you later. Okay, all right. Y'all take care. Thank you all. All
You
right.
do sign him, right? Okay. Well, I got it. You want one of these? No, I ordered those for you. Oh, okay. Yeah. The gun violence prevention symposium. Are you running right now? Ooh. Look here. Let's see. Probably not more. Good afternoon again to everyone. Hope you enjoyed the pizza. Believe me, it was not my first meal. And I don't think pizza is healthy, but it had to work with the current time. Okay, so at this time, we're going to call up Mr. Dennis Gaddy, Ms. Amy Hill, and Mr. Stanley James to come to the front. So we're going to have our conversation on gun violence. I'm going to add, while they're coming up, I don't. They're going to be better over here, aren't they?
It don't matter.
Oh, it don't matter. You said it didn't matter.
Wherever they want to
There's
be.
only two. Probably be better on this side, because there are three here. And what I'm gonna do is like you guys there, on the side, front with the audience. Just as a little context, I want you, this is a conversation. After we hear from them and they share what they have to share, I want to engage the rest of the audience in a conversation about gun violence. You know, if you've been affected by gun violence or not. I don't know if we all know or not, but gun violence is only the problem. There's deeper, there's deeper issues behind the reason why we have so much violence in our community. And those issues are poverty, it's racism. Those are the issues that are often behind the gun violence. So when we go to address, we need to think about addressing issues that address, poverty and systemic racism. Without further ado, I'm gonna let each one of these wonderful panelists introduce themselves in whatever way they would like. And thank you all once again for being here. Mr. James.
James?
Yeah, that would be you.
I thought Ms. Hill first.
Oh, well.
No.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'll make this happen.
Are we okay to sit and do it? Or we gotta come to the
Yeah,
phone?
that'll be fine.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna stand up.
But no, if he wants to stand up,
No, it's fine.
whatever.
No, I know. No, I wouldn't.
Either whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, just comfortable.
Whatever you're comfortable.
Okay. For those that don't know me, I'm Stanley James, yes, former sheriff of Washington County. I could go back and talk about some things, but I'm gonna keep my situation short so I give them more time to do what they do or say what they say. But let me just say this first. I got to go back to my mother and father, Elsa James, Older James. They made me. And when it made me, I say it made someone that wanted to serve, wanted to give. And my mother always saw me as a passionate person. She always go back to the time that there was a injured bird in our backyard, and how I wanted to put it into a box and nurture it to health and feed it and stuff like that. And she always told me that I was the kind of kid that wanted to do for others. And, she was right. It's all right. She was right. At this point, I'm going to get to it. At this point, I'm in ROTC at the high school. And I find myself not really wanting to put myself into place, but yet my heart says go into the place and help out these young kids. But things come up to have you to kind of divert your plan. My mom took sick to the point that I'm not going to be able to do all that I would like to do as far as the school system, because these kids really need our help. They really do. So I'm gonna play that by mind and heart, see which way it goes. Okay. How do I do this? Gun violence. Being a part of sheriff's office a while back, being in the military for 20-something years or stuff like that, we know what a weapon does to a person. But who's behind the weapon? We have good people, police officers, people that govern to wear the weapon. Supposedly, they do it in an honorable manner to protect the citizens of your county, your community, wherever, and the military aspect as well. So, weapons are made for all types of reasons. I would give my personal opinion for protection. I mean, because when I carried a weapon in the military, well, I didn't carry a weapon. I drove a tank. My tank had a big old tube, and my bullets were about that big. So that was my weapon. However, when I changed MOSs, I went to military police. Now I wore my weapon on the side to protect citizens of whatever post I was at. I'm saying all that to say that now is a time that weapons are used in dramatic ways that it leaves a lot of families suffering, leaves a lot of family in dismay because son, daughter, father, children are getting killed by these weapons for the people that's behind the weapon. If you lay the weapon down, it's not going to shoot until someone picks it up. It's not going to hit me until someone aims it at me and pulls the trigger. So who's behind the weapon? That's one thing we got to look at, who's behind the weapon. And I find it today that there's more young people have weapons almost more than grown-ups. I would almost bet you I can go in that school and 60% of the students in that school can tell me where I can get a weapon. Because it's here. It's out here. Last year, I was home sitting in my den, and I saw a car come up. I'm on a dead end road, railroad track, parallel to the house. I saw 3 young teenagers, 16, 17, 18, in that range, parked the car on the side of the road. They opened the trunk. They went down the railroad track where it was a little bit secluded, vegetation on both sides. And all of a sudden, I hear a cannon sound. Boom, 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 boom. I said, what in the world? And I was trying to find my phone to call the sheriff's office to have someone to come out and look at this thing. And when they came out, they were already gone. And I tried to get out to find the license tag for it, but it was a little bit too far for me to do that. And the next night or the day, they did the same thing. I said, okay, all right, what is going on here? So that time, when they got in the car and drove off, I got in my truck and drove off. But by the time I got in my truck, they had turned. I couldn't tell which way they turned. But what I'm getting at is, these weapons are getting into the hands of these young kids. And you know it's not for, well, I'm not saying you know it's not what it's not for, but if the opportunity gives them to use it, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So what do we do? I will say that when I go to the school and try to talk to these kids, I try to talk to these kids in a way that it should go. Because basically, you know, once they're out of your sight, you can't control what they do. The only thing I can say I can do, I can try to put it in their head what they should do and what they should not do. And hopefully somewhere down the road, they will understand what I'm trying to say. Because the destruction is waiting. It's waiting. And I look at it this way. Anytime that a person carries a weapon to use on another individual, whatever the case may be, you better be ready to accept the consequences. Because as you give it, you better be ready to receive it. And if you go out and do some of these things that you think you're big enough, bad enough to do, you may not come home to eat your next meal. And that's what I'm trying. I try to get these kids to understand. Once it's done, it's done. You can't undo it. You can't say, well, I'm gonna put my weapon down and not use it. Well, no, it's over. It's over. Sometimes I wish I had a magic wand, because some of these kids are good kids. Some of them are. Some of them just get caught up in a situation where they feel that they're pressured to do. And that's how they get into some of these things. But like I told some of them the other day, once you make that decision to do what you do, there's no turning back. Then once you get into the court system, once you get into that box that they roll you up in front of a church or wherever, you got to go through the situation. And feeling sorry for what you did may be okay, but at the same time, it's not gonna make that parent, that father, that son, or whatever feel any better for your actions. So, and sometimes I do wish that I was back into the system, because by me being out of the system, I feel like I can't give it 100% like I did before, because by me not being in the system had me not to interact with certain officers, certain people like I did before. But however, I was talking to the chief deputy the other day, Arlo Norman, and I was telling him that, you know, I would think that the sheriff's office need a, what do you call it? not a human resource person. PR, what a public relations person that can go out and do what I'm doing right now. You know, talking to some of these kids, get groups, bring them together, and do the same thing I'm doing right now because he, she, whoever that's on duty may not be, you know, able to do these things. They don't have time to do it. But so bring in your PR person to have these groups, to have these talks, and let the congregation be them. Let it be students. Let it be young folks. You are not the congregation that need to be hearing this. Right now, you are the people, you know, that carries it out. But right now, you're not who I need to be talking to. So basically, if we stay on top of it, I'm not gonna say it's gonna solve it, but like a lot of people say, you can just help one. It'd be a whole lot. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Amy Hill. I am from Columbia, but I work at Dare County Detention Center. I'm the lieutenant that can come in of the detention center. I'm over top of the transportation. I've been there next month. It's going to be 29 years. I've also been a Dare County foster parent since 2010. So I haven't really been in gun, around guns. We don't carry a gun at the jail. We just have tasers. So I haven't had a lot of dealings with guns. So when Mavis asked me to do this, I'm like, I don't know anything about it. I don't figure out. But I can truly say that once I became a foster mom, your life changes because you meet children from all places and to hear the terrible lifestyles that they had. Of course, I was home alone. I just wanted to help. So I understand what he's saying for help. But I had no idea that I was taking on a whole new world, a world I knew nothing about. So I did several kids before him, but my very first foster kid that was actually mine to keep on a daily basis, his name was Nathaniel Brown. And he was a white kid, because that's all you're going to get in man here. I've always asked for smaller kids. I thought maybe 5, 10, what I wanted to deal with, because I felt like they were living. But of course, because I was who I was at the detention center, they called me Medea. So they didn't give me anything but the older kids. And of course, Nathaniel was 15 when I got him. So bringing him home was not only the selection for me, but the selection for him, because he was racist. And I knew that because it was funny how it all tied together. When Nathaniel's father, who was from Pennsylvania, moved to Dare County and needed a job, I was the one that helped him get hired. And Nathaniel was 3 at the time. And so I had seen him from time to time when Tom Brown's wife would come pick him up and the little kid would be with him. Didn't really have any interaction somewhere than, hey, how you doing? But then as time went on, Tom was quite a mess. So he didn't make it at the detention center. So Tom got fired. So then, of course, he wanted letters of recommendations for me to get other jobs. So I see Nate from time to time. So then when he got remarried, I actually was one of the witnesses who signed the marriage certificate for him to get married. Of course, Nate's growing up. And as time went on, Nate was actually in foster care. And his daddy was sitting in Belleville when I got a call from social services wanting me to take him. And I thought, this is not good. The daddy's here in jail, and you were asking me to take the kid home. So I ended up doing it. And of course, the first day of having him, I gave him a culture shock because it was St. John's Revival Week. And I told some service, I ain't missing church, he's going to have to go. So now you're taking a white kid to a black church, ain't never been to church. So that night, we got in the car and came home, and he didn't have anything but shorts and flip flops. So that's what it came to church in. And he clung to me like it wasn't no tomorrow, because of the atmosphere. And so our relationship began there. So Nate is the one that has introduced me into guns and stuff, because Nate was smart. He was so smart, it was just ridiculous. Nate never cared to go to school, and he was a straight A student. He was Marshall. He did people's homework and stuff for him, and I used to say, they can't pass the test, you can't take the test for them. They will pay him to do their homework. So he was always a hustler from the time I got him. So then I started noticing that as he got older, I helped him get a job, I helped him get a cell phone. And then I started noticing the difference in Nate. He was doing a little more than just doing homework. And so once I found that out, of course, that don't go with my lifestyle. So we're having issues. So as time went on, and I did stick it out with it, I knew that this kid could go places. He was just in the wrong place. He came up wrong. And once they got a taste of that street life, which I'm sure Mr. Jackson, it's hard to get them out of it. So it's a constant battle. It's a constant talk. So not only was I battling drugs, the issue with racism, I'm battling racism inside my home. So out of all the things I wanted to help, after being in court, listening to all the stuff these children go through, I wanted to help. And of course, this is my first chance to help. So no matter what, how many tears I shed, I'll pray and I'll say, God, give me the strength. I'm gonna win this war. I'm gonna get him to see. So as we went on, Nate became more and more into drugs. And I remember one night he was out, and I came home from work tired, and I was asleep, and a knock came to the door, and I got up, went to the door, and of course I didn't say who it was. I just opened the door, and there was this young guy there. I would say he was probably 16, had a hoodie on his head, had it tied up real tight, and all he was hollering, it was, "Where's Nate?" And this is when I realized I don't even know who this is, and I'm the only one home, and he's kicking up the name, and I says, "Nate's not here." And he's getting a little agitated. And I said, "Look, you need to leave. Nate's not here." So he won't leave. So I'm holding my storm door. He's holding my storm door. So I tries to take my storm door from him and then let him know we need to leave. And of course, smallest storm is I believe you know I'm sterilized. So as I kept tugging my door, he finally did turn it loose, but he didn't turn to walk away. He backed down the door until he couldn't hold it anymore. And that's when I got it to and locked it. And of course, I immediately got to the phone and I called Nate and I'm kicking up. "You gotta go. This ain't happening." So of course, me and social services got into it, and I told them what Nate was doing. They don't want to believe that you know what you're talking about. But I think it was more the fact they didn't want to address the situation, because Nate, nobody else was going to take Nate. He was an older child. Nobody takes the older kids, but they already has issues. And so they felt like I was doing such a great job with it, they didn't never take Nate. But anyway, once I got him through school, he graduated, we had a talk, and I said about lifestyle don't go together. With me being the sheriff's office and him wanting to sell drugs. So Nate moved out, and I helped him find a place, and he was good. But unfortunately, Nate continued on to the drug life. So I got introduced to violence with guns when Nate was murdered in my yard one night. I woke up to gunshots, which wasn't strange to hear because 2 streets over from me, you hear gunshots all the time. But that particular night, it was different. It was like close. And so I kind of woke up in bed, I looked around, and he's the first thing I thought about. And then I did it like that. No. And so James, he goes downstairs, and he went there to watch the door. And all of a sudden, you hear this boom, 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 boom at the door. And a guy's hollering, "I need help." And so Buck is hollering, "Who is it?" This late at night, it's like going on 12 o'clock. And the guy's hollering, "I need help. Nate's been shot." So I jumped up out of bed and I said, "What did he say?" And Buck's like, "What?" And of course, he was hollering, "Nate's been shot." So Buck's not opening the door. And I immediately go get my cell phone and call 911 and tell him that there's been a shooting and Nate's been shot. I didn't know to the severity of what happened to Nate, but I do know that I heard at least 2 gunshots. Found out there were more. But the problem with that is, in my part, I didn't believe it was type gun violence. I believe that these were 2 kids who wanted to be something that they wanted. They were in a lifestyle that neither one of them knew how to control. You know, they toting guns, but unfortunately, Nate did the right thing because he lived with me. So Nate did do the right thing in getting a gun. Nate did have a permit for a gun. He had went through the class. He was fingerprinted. He had a concealed weapon for his gun, but he had gotten in trouble, and so they had taken it from Nate. So Nate's gun was with the sheriff's office for a while, but then after they done his case, he couldn't have it back because he was on probation. So Nate came and talked to him, and I said, I don't want your gun. I don't deal with guns. But he had paid a lot of money for this gun, so Nate put my name on the judgment anyway to receive the gun. And it just so happened that before this incident, I had to go get the gun, but the sheriff's office wanted me to pay storage fee. I'm like, I don't even own the gun. I'm paying no money for keeping the gun. So I ended up going and getting the gun, and it's still in the packet. It's still in the evidence bag, sealed up. I never wrote the gun. It's still in the case. And of course, Nate didn't have a gun, and it was a drug deal. And so I was really disappointed that he came to the house to do a drug deal. But then I was later told after the investigation by the sheriff that it wasn't that he disrespected me, because that's what I was hollering to him laying out in my door. How could you disrespect me like this? I thought you loved me. And so the young man that happened to be with Nate that night, he was hysterical because he was down there trying to save Nate. He was doing CPR and everything. So then he got upset with me, and he's hollering at me that night. So it was like the worst night of my life. But I can say this. When the sheriff's office did do their investigation, they came back and had a talk with me and said, we don't want you to be upset with Nate. Nate truly was in a bad situation. He knew that he was in trouble. He thought that if he came home, it wouldn't go south. He thought that because the young man that killed him, his daddy and our first cousins, he caused me our enemy. He grew up from a little kid with us. So he felt like his family, that we just do this one time, nothing's going to happen. Well, with these young kids of today, it's either the drugs or the money. And that was a pure robbery. To me, it was meditated. He bought the gun to the situation. And so they told me that he didn't disrespect me. He was really trying to get something done and not let mama know about it. But it didn't happen. So Nate lost his life. And of course, the other young man is in jail. He's been in jail for a year now. And he's facing a lot of years. And his thing is, he doesn't feel that they have enough evidence against him. So we're fighting. We're fighting our court case. So I've done it like 3 or 4 times now. And this last time, he fired his attorney. So you got to go to him, get a new attorney. But the reason I go is because, regardless of the color of Nate's skin, he was my son. So I have to go. So the bigger picture with guns is drugs and it's alcohol, it's pills, it's all that stuff. These kids don't know like that. They have nothing else to do. And from their county, you would think it's such a beautiful place. The kids will go to the beach. They don't even go to the beach. They don't even like the beach down there. And they're ODing all the time. And, you know, I get to talk to them because I drive around. And even though I got to be lieutenant, I said I still need to drive them around because I get to talk to them. And I've had several who have passed, and it hurts just as bad, but they were my child because I've been knowing them since they were 16. I've been talking to them since they were 16, you know, so it hurts. So that's the part that I see from gun violence. So when you try to figure out what can you do, I'm just like Mr. James. We need them in here. We need the younger kids in here to tell us what they think we should do for them. Because just like you said, the peer pressure is terrible. You know, you're trying to do good, but there's somebody over here saying you're not here if you're not good. So now to take it one step further, I never intended to adopt. Adoption was not part of my vocabulary with being a foster mom. I just wanted to help. But then I ended up getting a second kid who I did adopt now. I've had him since he's 7, he's not 12. He's a white kid also. So we're having issues too. But him and Nate came from the same background. They came from parents that drugs, parents that were in and out of jail. And what's so bad about the kid I got now? I drove his mother back and forth from court 2 weeks before she OD'd. You know what she said to me? You're a foster mom, and you've always been the same. I need you to have RJ. Because RJ's living next door to me with his step grandma, the daddy, and the stepmom. So I seen RJ. And I took her to her doctor's appointments before she had RJ. So it felt like there was a connection with me. So to say that when she passed, because she was such a beautiful girl, I had a lot of potential to, but because of the drugs, because of the home life she had, it just seems like to me it's a generational thing, you know. So with RJ, I ended up keeping it. So now his father was back on drugs and stuff. So now social services took the parent in court and they took their rights away. So he's up for adoption. They're at me to adopt. I said I can't. I just felt like I was too old. You know, my deal was I was going to be on my front porch with a glass of iced tea, reading an Indian book. But they know how to they know how to love underneath the stars and money. That was my thing. That's what I was going to do. And so when it came up that RJ needed to be adopted, I kept talking. I couldn't do it. So then it came down to you don't think kids listen to you, but they do. I never thought Nick listened to him. But when it came time for RJ to be adopted, loyalty, that's me. I didn't think I could adopt RJ because I never adopted Nate, and Nate was my first. Nate was my baby. So I didn't think I could adopt RJ because I didn't want to hurt Nate. So Nate ends up calling me out one night, and Nate says to me, and of course, I'm thinking he's in trouble. I mean, it's late at night. Nate's calling late at night. What you want me to do then? So, of course, he says, Mom, I'm not in trouble. I said, you got to be. Go ahead and tell me. You know, let's figure out what we're going to do. But he did. Nate said that he had found an apartment. I had to deal with him. He said, I called to tell you, Mom, that you're the only mother that I ever had that went to bed. And he called to tell me that how much he loved you and how that he was looking around. He had a car. He had a $4 car. He had a bank account. My name was on it. He said, Mom, you never did my bank account. You never touched my money. He said, if that had been my dad, I wouldn't have done it. He would have took it from me and never got it. Mm. So, you know, when he went on to tell me how I did touch his life, I was happy. And then I told Nate about RJ. And he said, Mom, you got to adopt little Nate. He needs you this way as I did. So Nate was a big part of me adopting RJ. So I say this, that you never know where your life's going to take you. But I can say that I'm thankful for the life I did have. Nate, I feel like I did touch you. Because, like you said, once that bullet leaves that woman and kills you, there's no turning back. Sorry doesn't count. Sorry doesn't mean anything. But when you find out how many people's lives it touched, I'm telling you, I have never been so shocked. I mean, I knew Nate was a lover. I knew Nate, you know, had a lot of women friends. But Lord knows, I never had an idea of the calls I was going to get through Facebook or people calling me and texting me saying, please talk to me. And I'm thinking, wow, you know, it didn't, I felt good to know that they loved him for him because he never had that love. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that I really keep near to me is he was of all the things he could have been, he loved fishing. He was always out on that fishing boat, pulling crab pots and stuff. The hardest job there was, as smart as he could have been. He could have went to college and didn't even have no bills when he came out. Mm-hmm. Social service would have paid for everything. He just wanted to be grown. And so I told him, well, be the best that you can be at anything. And fishing was his baby. So when the sun was coming up, he would send me pictures of himself out on the board and say, good morning, beautiful. I just wanted you to see the sunrise, because you know I am about water. Well, when he passed, that was my favorite picture of him. I was so proud of that picture. When I woke up that morning, saw the blue water, I said, oh my God, they's having a good time on the water. Well, after this happened, I decided I'm going to post my picture, because this is like the best picture I have. Well, it's still my best picture. But I also found out every female mate was involved with got that picture. So when I shared my picture with Mike, Nate, they shared their picture. So to this day, I've been trying to figure out where did he have time to take the same picture and give everybody a different text, you know? But we all had the same picture that morning, and so that was a nice story for me. And you know, I love them coming and sharing. They still come to me now, and they still tell me how much they know that they love me. So I feel like I didn't win the war, but I did change that one for just a little bit. And I'm pretty sure that the way he was so carefree, he wouldn't have wanted to be laid up in a hospital bill or in a wheelchair. He wasn't that type of person. So, you know, I guess God do best. But the thing about it is, God can prepare you for things too, because it was like a few days before this happened, Nate came to the house and I knew something was wrong. And he just kept telling me how much he loved me. He kept telling me that when he come home, how he could breathe, how he could just lay and rest. And I said, that's because it's safe here. You don't have to look behind your back. Ain't nobody kicking in my doors. Ain't no dogs coming through, because he knew what he was doing. And I tried to get him to quit. And I said, whatever you got planned, let it go. Please get out of it. But of course, I guess the money been a little bit. So he didn't let it go. And so, you know, he lost his life behind it. And so there's two families that's really messed up. And what's so bad about it, we're family. You know, we're kin. And so everybody's life is entwined. And now that side of the family is pissed off with my family, you know, thinking that we shouldn't have went with Nate. So I do have a nice speech for the cousin when he does get sentenced. I'm just going to tell him that I don't have any hate in my heart for him. I'm just very disappointed in him. I'm disappointed that he knew what I stood for, and he brought the gun to the house too. I'm disappointed with Nate because Nate knew what I stood for. And even though he might have wanted to get that money, he should have never came there to do it. So I'm disappointed in both. And I would love to do something to help these kids understand that there's more to life than the drugs and the pills and the alcohol and losing their life. And when I tell you, being in that jail, you wouldn't believe the stuff that we see. Because we had to take a group of young people to court that day. We had a young man who was ODing right in booking. And we were trying to get people out to go to court. And you're not going to believe this, but all the kids that I was trying to take to court was hollering, Miss Hilda, you know where he got the drugs from? That's the good drugs. Look at him. How is that? They're drugs. He's seconds from losing his life, but they feel that that's the good high. And they don't even care about whether or not they live tomorrow. They just, it's about the drugs, the alcohol, the guns. Trying to be gangbangers now. Trying to be gangs. The shooting we just had in Dare County now. White kids are trying to have a gang. They call themselves the Colleton Crips. So silly. But also, in saying that, that young man is a juvenile. And he was already arrested for guns because his mom was scared of him. Because he got all these weapons. He went on YouTube and he got a 3D printer, and it showed him exactly how to change a regular gun into an automatic, where it just keeps bang, 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 you don't stop. And so then I have to wonder, where did he get the money from? He wasn't old enough to work. He wasn't old enough to get the money. So why didn't somebody get alert that there were so many materials of this kind going to his house, you know? But again, you know, as parents, we busy, we're trying to build a life for the kids. We don't always have time to watch them because we're thinking they're doing the right thing. But a lot of it needs to be part of the parents too, coming together with concerned citizens to help. But the parents nowadays want to be more friends than they are parents. You know, with us, when we came up, they said no, no was it. You say no again, you're going to get the backhand. You don't even know where it came from. These children now, you got to explain to them why you're saying no. They don't understand the word no. They just understand what I want, when I want it. They don't understand responsibility. So a lot of that comes into play too with what's going on there. They can't get what they want, they're going to use a gun to get it. You know, they think that's their way out. And then what's so bad about it? Nobody's big enough to take the punishment to go with it. Everything you do has your reaction has a reaction. Your reaction can touch many a person, but you don't even know how it touches. So that's what I try to tell the inmates all the time. And then, you know, when they come in again, and it's been years, I'll say, welcome home. Our family reunion is back. And then I'll say, you didn't have to come here. You could have called me. I'd have met you at McDonald's. You could have had a happy But, you know, I try to touch them all. It doesn't matter about the color of their skin to me. I just would love to see young kids do better. I don't know the answer to it. I mean, I try every day to talk to them. But as an officer, you can't do but something like that. I try to be a person that they can look up to, and I get that from all of them. When they come back, I get it. Even when I took RJ, when his biological grandmother died, and I took him to Collison, there was a little guy there, and he kept looking at me. And he kept looking at me, and then finally he came to me, he got the nerve to come to me. I kept looking at him too. Because when I had him, he was a little guy, and he kept looking at me. Let's see him. And I said, Casey, see him. He said, I just want to thank you for what you've done when I was in your house. Casey only stayed with me for a weekend, maybe 4 days. But guess what Casey done? Casey stole $100 from me. We were on our way to the hospital to see my mom in Greenville. And I go in my pocket with my short $100, and I'm like, there's nobody there. Casey got to be the one that got it. So I was determined. I wasn't going to tell social service. I was going to get my money back. But I was meeting the social service lady in Greenville to give it back. So when she called me, I took Casey down to the car, but I didn't go on the aisle she was on. I took him in my car. I opened that door, and I put him inside. I said, you got one thing. I'm going to treat you like an inmate. I'm going to strip you. I'm going to check you. And if somebody come by, they just see you. And I'll deal with social service later. I said, well, one thing you won't do is steal from me. I said, so you either give it up, or you going to turn them pants inside out, or I'm going to turn them out for you. So Casey looked at me, and I said, Casey, you got $100 bill to go on with me. Give it to me, and I won't leave you mention social service. And I guess Casey will give me my $100 bill. And so Casey thanked me for that, because Casey said he had never had nobody tell him, you shouldn't steal. I told Casey, if you needed something, if you had asked me, I would have helped you. But just don't steal from me. And so Casey thanked me for that day. And Casey's never got in trouble again. He finished juvenile, and he had a girlfriend. He had a house. He's working, and he was doing good. So that's what I wanted to see. Yeah. I would like to see a lot more of them do it. But unfortunately, the drugs have like young kids. You know, it doesn't matter. Drugs like cancer. It ain't got no color. It don't matter who you are, how big you are, how much money you have. And to see the white people, I'm not talking about, but the white people aren't like us. When they go so far with their kids and they can't get them to do what they put them in rehab, and they put them in these fancy rehabs, and they don't do it, they come out worse. They do tough love, they go away. But us, we're going to stick with them. We're going to try to bring them in. So I think that's a problem too. How do you solve that? You know, it's just a big generation of problem. I didn't even take this long. That's my story.
So, Magus,
Sorry.
what did you want me to do? Good Lord. And I'd hate to hear what she had to say if she knew something about guns. You know her saying she don't. I told her I didn't know nothing about guns. I'd hate to hear your story if you did know something about guns. That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to be short and sweet. I've got to get back to Raleigh, not taking away from the importance of this conversation. But I want to do two things. My name is Dennis Gaddy. I've already had the opportunity to address you earlier today. But kind of like you in the sense that this is not my day-to-day work, because my day-to-day work's not that I don't deal with this population, I just deal with them after prison, after the event, after the shoot. Now, obviously I can't handle them after death, but if they make it through survival mode and get through prison or whatever their time is, and some I never get to because they'll be in prison for life or whatever. Just a few statistics about the state of affairs in 2023. I want to do two things, just read you a few of these statistics, and then I want to go to the kinds of things that we talk about helping them with to maybe turn their lives around, right? Total gun deaths in North Carolina in 2023 were 1,803 people. Homicides was 727. Suicides was 1,000. Most deaths in 2023 in North Carolina came because people took their own lives. And others 76. Children, ages 1 to 17, 100 deaths. Gun death rate rose 39% between 2014 and 2023. North Carolina ranked 12th highest in the United States for gun homicide rate in 2023. Firearms were again the leading cause of death among youths 1 to 17. Racial and gender breakdown. Young black males 15 to 34, although they represent 3% of the population, kids, but accounted for 36% of all gun homicides. Ages 15 to 34. Young Hispano Latino males, age 15 to 34, 3 times more likely than white counterparts to die by a gun homicide. Black females, 4 times more likely than white females to die by gun homicides. Black people were 10 times more likely to die by gun homicide than white. A lot of reasons for that. Young black males, 15 to 34, were astonishing 27 times more likely to die by homicide. I don't know if I knew all that, when I was reading and studying it, but there's a lot in that. So, when a person comes to us and we're finding out through their assessment forms that maybe we don't find out everything about them, but we do find out some things about them to help us begin to think about how we case manage that problem, right? And sometimes we can't. Because if a person is not willing to turn their lives around and not willing to put the past behind them, it may just have to be that we refer to somebody like Healing Transitions, who just does amazing work with anybody, right? And so I have these principles of personal growth and leadership that we talk from, that all of our case managers use as we begin to deal with the person who's in front of us to try to deal with this topic that we're talking about today, amongst other things. Because you could believe that there's more to it than just what we read. There's a whole lot to fatherhood. There's a whole lot to a lot of problems in there that's kind of laying beneath the surface, right? And there's an organization that I work with called Fathers Forever, afatherforever.com. And Glenn Warren does a wonderful job with dads trying to reconnect with their children through even after divorce or whatever. So here's some of the things that principles, and I'm going to be done here. Thank y'all so much. This is kind of thing. You got to write a book. Number one, we say you become what you think about. We talked about it earlier, right? You become what you think about. And the mind has to be programmed by something. And it's programmed through the thoughts that you think and that you put in it. So if it says go get a gun, you're going to find a gun, right? But something has to deter you away from, see, because I say like my preacher says, he said, there's a king and a fool in all of us, right? And guess who shows up? The one you call. That's the one that comes, right? So there's a king and a fool in all of us. Or queen, fool in all of us women, right? So that's one thing we think about. We got to program it to program the right things for the right things to show up, right? Therapy. You know, black people, black men. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Ain't nothing wrong with me. You know, I was one of those people. I had the condition, not necessarily criminal minded, but I had this condition called hypomania. And I didn't find that out until I was in prison. That's a big old fancy word for being too busy. Had to be in every parade. Got to go everywhere. You got to be next. And you got to put your appointments so close together that you don't even have time to get to them.
Come on now.
Right? I had to see a therapist for that. He had to slow me down, something called wise mind therapy. Just slow it down, pump your brakes. Nothing criminal minded about what I was doing. Probably ended up while I went to prison though, because I was too busy thinking about everything I was going to do, not slowing down to think it through. But probably at the end of the day, it probably was. So he had me slowing down. He had me winding down. He had me. I found out through him about how to practice yoga. Everybody that practice yoga, but I do. I'm about 20 hours away from being able to teach basic yoga to people. Breathing, slowing down, right? But I was with him for 2 years. Changed my life. Probably one of the best pluses that came out of my prison experience, right? Number 2, maintain character and integrity at all times. Character is who you are when nobody's looking. That's what character is. Integrity means, it comes from the word integration, means to integrate who you are with what you say. Right? So, be about who you say you are. Character is important. Discovering your spirituality and putting it into practice. You know, I come from a Christian background, but everybody doesn't. That doesn't mean you can't teach them how to be spiritual. Right? And this may take time. Everybody ain't going to get this just because you say it one time. It may take over and over and over again. And like you said, it may be a while before they come to themselves. Right? Now, this is my mom's favorite. She's passed away, God rest her soul. She says, develop and maintain a positive mental attitude and a pleasing personality. Now, you carrying a gun, that's a tough one. Because you always gangster mode, mad mode, ready to attack mode, whatever. But you keep easing that in. And my mama, where she wouldn't say it like that, she said, son, be nice to people. That's all she'd say. And don't let them have to call me to that schoolhouse. Hey. Establish worthy goals and review them daily. These are the things that we're putting in to combat the kind of things that we're talking about today. Spend quality time with family and those that mean the most to you. Sometimes that's hard for people because families don't. And the people who are coming home from prison through our program, they even have to find another place because the family don't even want them back at the house. Right? I teach the dads, as I said earlier, ease back home. Don't be trying to run back home like you're running stuff. Because you ain't paid not one electric bill since you been gone. Right? Ain't bought not one piece of clothes for nobody. Paid not one phone bill. Right? And you know you want to call every day. Or whatever. And those phone calls in prison are expensive. We're trying to work on that, but they're expensive. So you come back home, easing back. Even though I had a pretty good relationship with my wife, still do, but I still did not take advantage of that. Because I knew what she had to do while I was away. Establish a sound financial plan. Well, that ain't nothing to do with guns. Well, it does. Because you gotta buy them. But we started teaching our girls about money when they were young and small. We're tithers. I'm sure my daughters would give me $10 out of 100, but I wasn't so sure they'd give me 100,000 out of a million. Right? So you have to earn that. You got to start that early. Read, data, and increase knowledge and skills. One thing prison did for a lot of people, they became readers. They read books. I read a lot. But here's my theme. Here's my little comment about that. He who will not read has no advantage over he who cannot read. Right? So if you're not reading, you're not learning. Whatever. Be a giver. That's a sermon. Not a sentence. Right? Always look for ways to improve. And understand the principles of leveraging and compounding. Leveraging comes from the word lever. I think as I'm looking around the room, everybody in here probably understands from the old car jacks in the steel bumper, right? So that car jack, with one hand, you could press down on that jack handle, and a 2-ton car will come off the ground. Now, you would think since you're so close to that car bumper that you just take the jack handle out and try to lift it yourself, but you can't. It's that jack handle, it's the lever. It does the heavy lifting. So we need to find people in our lives and find situations in our lives that does the heavy lifting for us. Right? That's right. So if you got to go to counseling and therapy to learn how to undo all that caused your life to go into turmoil, do it. Do it. What's easy to do, though, is easy not to do. Right? I want to lose some weight. You say, okay, let's walk around the block. That's easy to do. Well, how come people don't do it? Because it's easy not to. That's right. Right? So just in response to what an important conversation about gun violence, that I am twice the student on than I am the teacher, because I'm not that deep into dealing with it in that sense. I'm used to dealing with it after the fact, and hoping we can help change it. So, thank you so much.
Let's give all of our panelists another round of applause.
Amen.
This is where all of you get involved. Do we have any questions for any of our panelists? Mr. Mark?
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Me?
You say
Yes, sir.
you went to prison, right?
I did.
But I did that.
Yes, sir.
What would have made you avoid going?
Slowing down in life.
Say slowing down.
Slowing down, I mean-
running the streets.
No. I'm none of that. None of that. I got involved with an investor that invested money out of the country, and I became involved in that, and it fell apart, and I lost money from me and some other people. That's what caused me to go to prison. But getting back to what I said a while ago, had I been able to slow myself down, I probably would have never got involved in it. But I had to be in every parade. So what?
So yours was really a financial.
Oh no, it was a bank. It was a bank. So they have money. So, sir.
So yours was really a finance. That
Yes, sir.
just
No, all.
make money.
Yeah.
Make money.
And I had plenty. So it ain't like I had to make it. So yeah. But under the circumstances, as I reflect on it, I don't know. I mean, it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. That's not, they use that in a good way, but yeah, I wouldn't have Probably slowed down, but kept on going. Who knows what other train wreck I'd run into. Came from a 2-parent family, right? Nothing, I was a school bus driver back in the day when young people were driving bus. Played basketball, smart guy, beta club, all that. So I had every reason not to fail.
That's why I'm asking, seems like you took the right path.
Yeah.
You ended up in prison.
Yep. It wasn't anybody's fault but mine. It was my fault. They had great parents.
Oh, okay.
They were married 66 years. Bless them. I'm almost to catch them now, 43, but anyway. But no, sir. No excuses. No excuses. But I'm able to help a lot of people now in ways I wouldn't have ever have done before. Because I was a lawyer, went to Carolina undergrad. So, but it all worked out.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
I have a comment. You said you're 43.
43 years married.
Married. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I could be 43 too.
I need to be 43. Okay.
60.
No, I'm just trying. But I'm not doing. I just want to thank the young lady for her presentation. That was awesome. Had me over here crying. And
Did you get that on tape too?
yes, I did. But the thing about it is, you were talking about that brother might not have lived as long as he did. You did put some more years on his life. So I mean, that was just a powerful story. I mean, like I said, I had me over here crying. I appreciate you.
Mr. Rosen?
I got a question for Amy. When are you gonna write your book?
No, no, that's
I told you.
Well, I've been telling the jail that I was going to write one about the jail and my experience, which ties into foster and all that.
Oh yeah, girl, you got
My
a book.
title's already the transports of the Outer Banks. So majority of my stuff is from the whole setting of the 30 years, and I even tell the inmates all the time about it. So everybody knows I'm writing it. So I told them, I said, when I get my book out, I need you to tell people to buy my book. That's right. And being kind, they done told me I need to donate my book.
Hook a brother up.
I tell them all the time. So now that I'm older, and I don't have to be down back road, I tell them all the time when I see them doing things wrong. I would love to interview you for be in my book. I tell them all I got the street name so they can get all my money. I'm going to use their street name in the book so then they know what I'm talking about. But they all think that's just, something. I really have been saying it.
If I could suggest one thing, because I too am in the process of writing a book, but for 5.5 years when I was in, I journaled. So that's your book right there, your notes. You just got to have it organized by somebody to do that. I journaled it and I dated it. It was all handwritten. I still got them in the process of unpacking all the boxes right now. Yeah.
So you gonna donate a book to?
I don't mind.
That's just gonna have to buy.
A book.
He donate one.
We might be kin there, remember?
All right. That's right.
But also I see you as being a motivational speaker too.
Absolutely.
That needs to be traveling all over the country. And what's so unique about it, you being a black mother and had those white kids, that's so very unique. And it's a lot of stuff in this room today. You're talking about black crime. They don't understand that, like you said, they got the money to pay. They don't go to jail. It's no different.
Right. That's right.
Mr. Mark?
You chose to foster white kids.
No, sir.
Dare County.
My license came from Dare County. And anybody knows, if you know anything about foster care, even though Dare County has all kinds of people, the only ones that are truly in foster care in Dare County are the biracial kids and the white kids. The black kids, when they come into foster, the family goes and gets them right away. They don't even stay in the process of having to find somebody. Somebody from the family goes and gets them. So I have had a couple of black kids that came through, But that was because at that time, their aunt that was in the family, she was going away for training in her job. And so I was like a respite for the time that she was gone. That's the only time I actually had black kids. Well, all the kids there are either biracial or just white. There's not even Hispanic. There's a lot of them that go, but parents, family members always go get them right away.
That's how we thought.
You said something. I followed a story. I think it's last month, where the white kid that was 16 killed I guess the kid was biracial. That was in Holland.
Yes.
So that was in your neighborhood.
It was where I worked.
Okay, where you work. Okay. So you just spread light that you said now they got gangs called the Collington Crips.
They think they do, yes.
I mean, I used to work in that little community. That was years ago when I was working I was managing Terminex down in the Outer Banks. So all the way to Ocracoke down in this city. I was just a floater. And I noticed that whole community at that time was predominantly white.
Right.
And then I found out that, now this gun violence had actually trigger over to where now you got white gang. You just got multiple gangs levels now. I mean, they're basically, they're even in this neck of the woods. It's like it's almost impossible right now to have a family cookout or what they call a block party. That's like a no-no. If you say I'm gonna have a block party for my, first grade, he's going to first grade. It's like a no-no.
Well, everything you're saying is true, but a lot of Dare County is also changing drastic because so many of the kids are having biracial kids.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of mixed kids.
Yeah, I used to
in
see
Dare
that
County.
when I was at the teaching Bertie area. When I was coaching track for the first flight. I mean, 90% of the was white or either biracial.
They are.
There was a few that I guess they came from the mainland because their parents worked down there.
Yeah.
They got dropped off.
You have a lot of people that are from like up north that are moving to the Outer Banks, and there are some that's black, but they don't stay long because of the cost of living. You know, when you come on vacation, you don't really know how much it's gonna cost you to live there if you actually was living.
Yeah.
So when they come and they try to get jobs and stuff, it's not long before they end up going back home. But the biracial ratio is definitely going up.
I just got one observation, then I'm done. Who's your favorite actor? Just name one.
Denzel.
I want to tell you, Denzel Washington.
Let's see.
Watch this. Watch this. If you have a child, student, whatever, on the brink of going left or going right, if you watch a lot of his movies, he has a message. And the message is, who are you? If you ever noticed, in 9% of his movies I've seen, that's the question that's been asked by the villain. Who are you? And a lot of his movie, he's trying to do the right thing. So, I'm saying, you got someone that's on the brink of trying to go left or don't know what he want to go right, ask him the question that's asked in his movies. Who are you? I didn't ever think it. I told somebody this the other day. They said, well, I said, well, think of a movie that question wasn't asked. And the movie was Flight. You seen the movie Flight?
Yep.
I said, well, no. At the end, during the movie, he had a little fault with his son. At the end of the movie, the son came to the prison. And he laid the thing on the bed. And the son said, That's a message that he's trying to deliver through his movie. And that's why I love it so much, because to me, he sends a message. And a lot of I asked some kids at school, do you watch news? No. Do you watch TV? No. Do you watch movies? No. I said, what do you watch? TikTok. TikTok. I said, guys, get out of that zone and start learning something. Because just like you said a while ago, read. If you don't read, you're going to say you're just as dumb as you are. So that was my, if anybody, if you got someone that's on that brink, ask them the question. Who are
You have
you?
to realize, you can't blame the child.
True.
You have to go back to the parents. When you said, the one thing you said, well, maybe we are the audience. That's true. But we are the audience.
You're the deliverer, I would call it.
Right. But if you don't train these parents,
Right.
then the children will
They don't know
always
how to
be
train
lost.
the children.
They're going to always be lost because they're not going to know their worth. And see, you came up in the generation, not so far from me, that your parents were, you did what they said.
They're wrong.
Yeah, but we try to make our kids be a little easier.
Right.
That's our downfall.
It was the wrong thing.
Making them easier, their life a little better than ours. But nothing was wrong with our life.
No.
But we didn't realize that till we actually got grown.
Right.
So if we don't start with these younger kids, and sometimes their kids will listen to me more than they will listen to you. So you have to go reach somebody else's kid for yours to see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And we stopped doing that. But I ain't gonna say like doing, but they curse. Somebody got to say something.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody got to say, we can't just say, well, they said because.
Right.
Because what? If you don't correct them, then they'll never know correction.
I asked a question the other day. When I'm at school and parents are coming to drop their kids off, 6, 7, 8 years old, whatever the case may be, I'm just going to tell you, as soon as you open the car door, you get an aroma.
Oh, no.
And to me, that's putting that child in a situation where he or she don't have no control of. So it's not the child's fault. It's the parent's fault. So I asked a question. I said, well, don't y'all smell that? Yeah, I do. I said, have you said anything to anybody about it? No. I mean, why do we just let stuff go without addressing the situation? Because tomorrow they're gonna do the same thing.
Worse.
But if they address it, the situation, I even say it. Okay, if you see it, smell it, whatever, there ought to be a home visit through the authorities or whatever. There ought to be something instead of letting that child go through that stuff that they don't have.
And they don't want to go through it. But
They don't know who to go to. So that's how those generational curses keep right on going. Because they can't talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
Because the parents already done told us, you better not say that. So they already putting a fear in them that if they do say something, or you want them to come take you, you want to go live with them, you want to go live with them. They're constantly putting fear into kids. You see it, but if you might not recognize, they don't recognize it like you see. But some way you have to take somebody's hand and then just casually just talk to them in a way that it doesn't degrade their parents or whatever, and just listen to what they have to say. Don't already speak for them. Listen to what they are saying. And you'll find we always assume or we know what they're going through, but we don't. We don't always know because we don't listen. We didn't have any other choice.
Right.
I was looking at an article you talking about on TikTok, and it struck me so funny. These guys were asking their parents, well, what did y'all do for fun on Saturday? You know, and they had the phone. So the parents took the phone from them, the game from them, and set them out there in the yard with a bag of peas. That's what we did. Yes. We shell peas on Saturday. We did this on Saturday. We won't, going to the movies, or we won't going here, doing all of these things, But we said, no, I do it, we go buy them already shelled, to keep them from doing things that.
Get free,
Like that, that stuff that will stick with them. And the saddest thing to me is on the Christmas. You ride into town, you don't see not one child.
Not in yours.
Oh my God. If we had to stay in the house on Christmas, it didn't never get too cold. On certain times, you were out. But you don't see kids doing none of the things that, But we survived.
My daughters can be in the same. My daughters can be in the same room and still text each other.
True.
So she's sitting right there. What?
Yeah. No conversations, no family times, anything. We're so busy working, trying to make life better for them that we're destroying their life.
But they don't talk anymore. They text.
Right.
I remember me and the time my daughter was in college now. She was 7 and we went out. I took her out to eat. We sit at the table. And this couple came out on a date. And I was 7 being nosy and curious. She just looking at the man. They were on their phone. And I was telling her, she said, they have not said a word to each other that
The whole time they just
I mean, it blew my mind because I had a coworker. She was dating a guy, and they would be sitting to the table. They'd be texting each other, but not talk. Text.
Yeah.
One time we was going somewhere, we were going to a meeting. It's like he texts all the way there, every 5 minutes. Not in 5 minutes, like every 2 or 3 minutes. That was crazy. And you wonder how they'd be digging up what? 300,000 text messages or nothing here. That's what they do. That's all they know. They don't speak anymore. They don't, interact face to face.
Oh, yeah.
And I know when I was in school, I had one boy came in, walked in the room, cussing down the hallway, came in, cussing. I sent his butt right back on out. Rolled him up, sent the paperwork. Came back again. Start cussing in, roll him back up. Roll him back up. Send him right back out there, roll him up again. Then the next time I had one of the deans said, oh, why you got him? I already rolled him up one time. And I said, that's for the second time if you look at the time. But once he cussed, he got already been running up for this, so he can go back and cuss all he wants. And I looked at that. That's I said, nah, my problem.
I got a question for her.
I said, you can deal with that, but he's not getting back in here. Because I'm not going to award him. Because, it's just like me. When I was a kid, my mom tell me, BVM by 10, 11, 10, and 11:01, I'm getting my butt torn. So what I'm going to do? I ain't going to come home at 11:01 and get my butt torn. I'm going to come in 1:01. 2 o'clock and really get my
right. That's reasonable.
Yeah. But he's saying, oh, I'm like, to a kid, well, I'm already written up for this, I can do that. We never had kids got suspended, but there was a while ago continued the whole day. And within it, he already suspended. Then the habit start being reaped. They start reaping habit because they know they already suspended. They start, disrupting classes, just reaping habit. And this is what we're doing. I mean, we got some of these teachers that do not know how to deal with urban kids because they grew up in suburban. And I tell people, there's some people don't know how to deal with the rule. And I used to tell the kids in Norfolk, you grew up in the urban ghetto. I said, man, that ain't. I said, tell them what ghetto rule is. They don't have an idea. Ghetto rule, I said, you have a sidewalk. When you walk down the road, we had ditches.
Right.
We had dirt roads
Right.
with potholes in them. I said, when I grew up in this, when they built the projects, man, we used to punch the project kids out because they used to tease us. They come in, they live in the project, they hit a switch, the air conditioner comes on. They go there, go to the bathroom, they got a flushing toilet, hot water, shower, wash machine. Get a room, we had to had that old town where you had to crank it, grind it. You had to got the well pump. I know if you're from Roper, most of you know what pumping water out of the ground with a hand well. We had all that, the outhouses. I said, and the kids used to grab out, I said, that's ghetto over there. That's ghetto, you gotta get over here and you gotta rule and get on rule here. You gotta go to the bathroom that other night. You gotta go out to the outhouse. 2:00 in the morning. Don't have diarrhea. It's gonna be a lot. Sometimes the wildlife will get in there. Yeah. Till daytime, yeah. I'm just gonna get in here one day and visit this one spot. And I'm just being serious. You wash your car, and time you drive it down the road and come back, you like, hit them potholes, it's dirty again. Laundry, we had that pump. We pumped this over, we thought we were I said, that's just round one. Round two. Oh, so now you gotta pump these big we call them foot till they want grail. You gotta wrench them more. Right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then Dad said, you gotta cut the grass. We either had that old push water or sling hook. No gasoline more. And I tell the kids, try that. I said, in a way, y'all living in a country club. Y'all have a maintenance crew come out and cut y'all.
You have a maiden service to do the work for you.
I was so mad because I was hoping that my mom and dad was gonna move in the projects. That's how bad it was. I was mad for a week. And I remember one time we left church. When we were so poor, we couldn't even. They just built the McDonald's on their house, man. I said, can you just ride back? When we ride back, we'll wind the window down there. Hamburger smell. I can't make this up. That's how it was. But it made better, kids out because I made a promise to myself. If I ever get a family, we're going to eat at McDonald's all the time. And we did. I used to enjoy the Happy Meal because at the time it was $2. But when my boys outgrown, my kids outgrown, I want to get through. No, we don't want the Happy Meal. I'm like, time out. What do you? We want the Big Mac combo. I'm like, what happened? We don't do that no more. Then, but I still went on and did it though. But it was, sometimes we have to stay, sometimes we have to just give tough love. Even on your job environment, you have to be real with that kid. You just can't turn and look away. Because I have kids, man, they don't want to study because they feel like the only place they're going is in NFL or NBA. I hear that all the time. I mean, NFL, NBA. Because the parents are encouraging me. And one of my most shameless moments, we was teaching STEM, and we had a STEM night where we had set up our robots, our flying drones. We gave away, we were supposed to wrap option. Every so often, you were supposed to do a total of 10, 12 iPads that the kids can keep. Backpack, everything. And this was in Norfolk. Over 1,000 kids, only probably about 12 families showed up. Huh?
That's the hard part.
That was the most degrading thing about being a teacher. And then the next night, that Wednesday night, I stayed back to do my lesson plans, something I take one day and write them out for a whole week and do all my plans. So that way I can get, that would be my stay back. And I'm down the hall and I hear all this cheering coming. I'm thinking it's in the gym. Now the gym is over on this side, the auditorium. I walk out saying, no game out there, hearing these people shouting. Nothing in the gym. I open the auditorium and I'm like, I couldn't even get, I had to stand. I'm like, what's going on? The step team doing like this. And the parents like had their iPad, like, oh yeah, the parents like it was in the NBA overtime. Like a champ, they got their iPads, their phone, so my baby might be a star. I'm like, are you serious? We're trying to motivate them to go into engineering, designing, computer, gaming, coding. And they are more concerned about pushing their kids to be a Hollywood dancer or something. I mean, it was, and because they're in their mind. And I had one parent told me, all I need is my son to just get out of high school because he's going to the NBA. The boy right now is doing a murder charge right now. In fact, he didn't finish his senior because he was like 3 girls that shot a 15-year-old girl in the neighborhood. Because I found something left in the car, went to pick up something, came back, and they moved in because she wasn't supposed to be in that neighborhood. And this is kind of stuff we're fighting against. And it's like when we detox them, like when he detox them, as soon as they get off the bus, you got role models looking like me, him, hanging around all day, not working. They detox, show them how to shoot crap and make money. How to, gamble or, so you want to make some money, shoot some crap or play that, I sell some drugs, you'll make $1,000 or tell the little girls go to a party and dance a little bit at a party and you'll make, $500-600. This is how, that's how it's done. I mean, that's,
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, we've already things like moved into the solution piece of this session. If you notice in your booklet, there was objectives of the Black Gun Violence Awareness Tour. And the reason it was a tour was because starting yesterday through next week, different events going on in different communities. I know there's one in Greenville. Wilson was this afternoon, one in Henderson. And so I was hoping that the regional director for this area, Saeed, was able to be here, but he probably got caught up in the Wilson session. But let's talk about what are next steps. We heard Mr. James say that he felt like this wasn't the audience, but also we're the deliverers. So what can we do to, let's have some very simple bullet points. What can we do going forward from this event to make a difference? And I won't only say just in Washington County, but Washington and Tyrrell County, because Tyrrell County CDC serves Tyrrell, Washington, and Hyde. But I don't think we have a Hyde representative in the room. So specifically Tyrrell and Washington, what can we do? I think I saw Mr. Dancy's hand up.
Well, I had a question
Yes,
someone
sir.
that was looking. Let me get back to it. They want to know. They said they want to know how do you get kids to be interested in the beach and in the great nature of North Carolina.
If they're from Dare County, they don't like the beach because their motto is they don't like the tourists. They want to be around the tourists.
Oh.
So therefore, they don't even take the time to enjoy what they have. So that's one thing and I love the beach. So mine has to go with me to try to get them to see that there's other ways in life to to make it to be fun. You know, you don't have to be always getting in trouble, but have simple fun. Simple fun, sometimes the best fun.
And then the other thing, you're talking about solutions, some of the things that already been said, my problem is, I've been out here advocating the early 20s. I'm now 62, be 63 Christmas Day. And I see a whole lot of stuff. Been a whole lot of places. When I go places like this, like Mr. Gaddy, I remember when he first started, I've traveled all over, doing this kind of stuff. But my problem with it is I look at Facebook and all these parents, children up there doing certain things. I got them children. But if my children was up there doing some things, I'd probably be in jail because I shut them down. And that's the part my guy. I look at some of my friends, some of them into the ministry, and they children up there selling drugs, the wet girls up there showing their butts and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, they have no respect. But I would shut my children down if it was me. So I don't get it. And then when my children come up in school, the kids that had issues, never forget, went to a Mudcats game. This little young black boy, I think my daughter was in the 7th or 8th grade. And so the white teacher say, he's going to sit with me. I said, no, let him sit with me. So the boy sat with me, and about the 5th or 6th inning, they gave him the freedom to do whatever he wanted to do. And that's the kind of stuff we got to do as you know, we, especially church folk. They're always saying they are brothers keeping, sisters keeping and stuff. Well, you know, you got to have faith. I understand parents. When I see children online fussing and cussing, I'll send them an inbox and say, look, y'all got to stop. I don't care whether they cuss me out, but I made the effort to stop them, and they listen to me. And so that's what we got to do. We got to stop being afraid, especially church folk. And we know what the children are doing in the community, and we got to start talking. We got to take control of our communities. We got to stop being afraid. Look, this kind of stuff, you got to have faith. Dr. King folk died. And we gonna be about our business and save this community, because I don't see nothing changing right now until some folk die out. I used to say that about white folk. But I see now in black folks, some of this stuff ain't gonna change until some of us die out. And we gotta reach, like, the children, get them now, because those gonna be the ones that gonna have to change this culture. Culture, it's our culture, our black culture. And some of this stuff that worked back then today worked back then. Some of these quotes they say, sticks and stones might break my bone, words never hurt. Folk died. Folk in jail. Some of that stuff sounded good back then. Some of the stuff our folks did in church, all this stuff sounded good back then. But we got to make sure that we don't mislead folk. And so I'm out here every day trying to make a difference, educate people. That's why I come out, do what I do, because the word got to get out. Might not be many people here, but I got over 100 people watching. And by tomorrow, it'll probably be 300, 400, 500. So in these settings like this, and that's what I do, because back in the day when black folks were saying that we need our own media, but I started out with a laptop. I already had a laptop back then, but a word processor, typewriter and stuff. And so that's what I do. I record stuff so I can educate people. And that's what we got to do. We got to make sure people are educated, because this was some powerful stuff here. Thank you.
Okay. That was a whole lot. Let me see if I can unpack it for our reporter here to document it. You talked about, help me out, sir. You talked about education, educating. You talked about, I think I heard, policing the internet, for lack of a better word. Reaching out, providing encouragement to our young folks. And I'm sorry I had to step out, but there were actually some nuggets Mr. James also shared. And the only reason I stepped out was I don't step out for phone calls, only if it's family or if it's a funder. Right then, a funder was calling me and said, when can we meet? And for our organization, that is our lifeblood. So she was calling to confirm where we were going to meet at next week. So I apologize for having to step away. And I heard you, Mr. James. Let me go back and catch that before I lose that. Please help me. Memory is not like it used to be. You talked about Denzel Washington's movie and the messages that was in his movie that asking our young people, who are you? You got that, Mr. Clark? Denzel Washington movie, and who are you? And that's really a profound statement when you ask that question. And when you ask us, who are we? What is,
I bet you a lot of people can't even answer the question.
yeah. You got a lot of people who, we all have a purpose in life.
Yeah.
And most of us, a lot of us don't know what our purpose is. And we actually have, the CDC actually has a coaching program that addresses that. If we could get young people to come, but a lot of times, if the parent don't come, can't get young folk, I don't know what it takes. I offered, for hoping that we would get young folks for this event, I offered gift cards. So if money's not doing it and food's not doing it, I don't get it. I mean, and I had invited my son today because I know that if he had came, he has a following. But unfortunately, his job had him to work 7 to 7 today, and he couldn't be here. And he shares with me all the time, jumping off a little bit on this about what he sees working in the pit detention center. You know, the young folk that come in there that are related, that have gotten involved in gun violence. Young man before got into gun violence, no fault of, it was an accident, and it just devastated his life.
So if we could get, if we could get more people like that young man to come in and speak to others. Sometimes kids will listen to another child of his age around his Saturday. Then they will for us, like, it's all, but they see another kid that say, I want to do this and that. Because when I was a teenager, the biggest person that really helped me is I seen guys that went in at 17, they're 18, 1 year in, they just tell how hard it was, and it just made me want to just stay away from that, And I noticed also, when we had the van load of kids come in from Ghost Town.
Yeah, that was a year ago.
Yeah, when we did the
one of our
STEM
conversations.
thing, we had, and they all seem pretty interested. And we can get to that point where we can kind of like bring. I mean, I got one daughter that basically follows me around, so I can get her and maybe one or two others on that field. She'll start kind of getting kids involved, and that's true. Have a kid, bring a kid, like that.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And
Okay, have a kid, bring a kid, Art.
I got a niece or nephew, bring them, say, hey, would you like to hang out with me? Miss Megan's got a lot of food and drink,
But you see, that's not food and drink. It's not getting kids anymore.
We got away from pushing.
Someone from the school, ROTC.
Yeah.
Well, I asked about ROTC, but they were tied up today.
Yeah. And next week.
And next week, see?
Oh, really?
Next weekend,
Yeah.
Well, we could do it on a Friday evening.
Football game.
Are they going to, yeah, we got football.
You're right, football game.
How about your basketball coaches and stuff like that?
You talking about as far as our relationship with the Brian Ralston basketball camp?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have been talking and working with them. One of the things we did this year inside of the Brian Ralston basketball camp, I did a civic engagement piece. I don't know. When you talk about Declaration of Independence, the preamble to the Constitution, and all those things, it's almost like a foreign language.
It is a
But you need to know it. Things are changing now, very drastically.
What I used to do, I used to ask the kid that you got, they may tell you, the NFL, cause we gonna pay you $1 million to come play with us. And, but, what would you do with that $1 million? They're gonna get fired because they think they just get the whole $1 million.
But then that's a 1 in a million chance that you have a child to go to the
Yeah, but
NBA.
I know, but that's not gonna happen most likely. What they don't understand, the finance of it is, you think you get $1 million, you'll get half your age, half of it. Then you gotta pay taxes on that 500,000. You know, you gotta pay.
You gotta age it.
Yeah, you gotta age it, but then you're not gonna pay his taxes on his too. So you're gonna be left with probably less than 100,000. And then if you get paid midway through the season for another team, if you go from Chicago to Atlanta now you gotta pay. It's like at the end of the year you paying you pay like state federal, one for the state of Illinois, then one for Georgia. So your money's gonna get double here. And they don't see that. That's why people say, well, what happened to all that $1 million? It goes, because you don't do the math.
I used to check your phone.
Starting checking.
They sent you from Texas.
He's texting me.
He's not gonna be able to make it. The bus is not gonna make it.
So what? Oh, he's saying he's not gonna make it. Oh, I figured that already. Did we unpack everything that you had said, Mr. Dancy? Okay.
But make sure she get this stuff so she can do a notes from the video.
Okay. Second question he had was to reach impacted people. We want people to be able to reach the people who are greatly impacted by gun violence, as well as the folks who are most likely to be impacted by gun violence. I have a little mixed emotion there. As I think gun violence is important to me because I had a son that was killed at 26 years old. And it was like no fault of his own, but they never found out that he was killed in D.C. in the they were coming from a party with went out with some of his co-workers celebrating her birthday, and they were leaving. But anyway, they got to the tunnel, and it was like they stopped at the light. Then when the light changed, the person they didn't move, the door, so they blew the horn. He wasn't driving. This one is a co-worker driving, and he hit, the horn, and then it's like the car, took off. And then they kind of flowed back in double lane and got beside him, and then they just sprayed the car. And my son was killed. He was the only one in the car that was shot because when they sped up, they kind of he was sitting in the back seat. So he just went over and was protecting the girl that was her from getting shot. He ended up getting shot about 7 times. And he died from the accident. And they said, well, there was no cameras in the tunnel for them to get whoever. And they then never, and this was in 2007. So, of course, it's a cold case now by any means. But people said, well, you didn't do anything. I'm like, well, at the time, to keep my sanity, I couldn't do it. Because it was, I had to get myself, together about that because it was, a shock. And I said, and I just prayed and prayed and prayed and, different ones after me. So if anybody ever tell you to trust God, it ain't just words. You got to put your faith and trust in Him to get through stuff like that. And so I said, came to the conclusion that if they can live with what they've done, I can live with it. No amount of justice or bring it home or doing something to them gonna bring my child back. So God had to handle it. It's out, it's leaked out of my head. They investigated and it was running here, running there, and it's no, it was cold. They could never get anything from it. So, and the people that were involved in the car, they said, well, do you think it was a setup? Do you think it was this? And I said, no, not when I talked to them. I didn't sense, I didn't feel, and still don't to this day. It upset them. If they can live with that traumatic experience, yeah. So as far as gun violence and kids, I think sometimes they need to take trips. They need to, like they have a sleepover. Let them sleep over in the prison. I mean, if there were different programs to reach, so they could know this stuff is for real. It ain't play. You can't say I'm sorry and go on.
Almost like the Scared Straight program.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Even if they sleep over.
So, and some still won't believe.
No.
But like you say, if you could reach one or two, maybe that one or two could influence 3 or 4 more.
Exactly.
And that 3 or 4 more could get 5 or 6 more.
Right.
No, man, I ain't doing that because, when you're in a small community, in a small area, I wonder if you ask the kids staying when you go to school, how many of you been out of Washington County?
Oh, that's stuff. We got some adults that haven't.
You would be surprised that the children haven't been.
Yes, ma'am.
The furthest I've been to Green. Oh, I could about walk to Green. But they haven't seen anything else. But guess what's happening around them? If they started seeing other things, maybe their interest will change. Huh?
Seeing like other cultures.
Right.
And I've seen that, right? I shouldn't say that Elizabeth said. Some kids never been no more than Elizabeth said. They never took trips and lawful was even worse. Never been out of lawful. And we stopped to go look around. And the girl didn't even know how to
Order, and they like
go back, go to the place she take off the street parade back. I said, no, you gotta give it back. And then one came and said, they took my plate. And so no, you just go get them up. Because they never been.
They never been exposed to, and it's not anything on their end, but some people just can't afford it. They really truly cannot afford it.
Now, recently, Mr. James took a group from, I think they were primarily from Tyrrell County, to the Smithsonian in D.C. Did you get a gauge of a feeling about how many people had ever been outside of the area? Usually you can tell by the way they act, an expression on their face.
Well, they were excited. Of course, I couldn't go in with them because I had to park the bus and that. But
right.
They had a good time.
Yeah,
they had
that's
a good time.
on Facebook. That's what I heard. I know some years back when CDC first got started, we had a youth conservation corps program. And so we ended up getting a project in, that's my water, Miss Rosa. You don't have to throw that away. No, the other box, you got full box. And we had a project at Hanging Rock State Park, which is all the way over on the western side of the state. Those we had in the program, I'm trying to remember whether we had, yeah, we had 12 or 15 in the program. Well, they came up with every excuse in the book because they did not want to go. They had not been outside the county. I had to threaten with firing everybody that did not make the trip. They had excuses with child care. They had excuses. I arranged for them to have child care so that someone would take care of their child. So they went on the trip. The project was about at least a month to 6 weeks long. And so when they went, when the first trip back in, they came to me and said, Miss Hill, I am so glad you made us go. We had never been in the mountains. We had never been on a camping trip. We had never, and they were just going down the list of the things and the exposure that they had gotten. But I had to put my foot down and say, I'm going to fire you if you don't go.
But it comes again to the parents don't mind sending the children.
Exactly.
And I know, but they don't want to go.
We need,
But they'll send them there.
yeah, they will. Now, one of the things I see, we need parenting programs for the parents. Because I hear my son, you heard me talk about his job at the detention center. Well, in the morning, he's at the school as the ISS coordinator in Wintergreen. So he catches everything. If Wintergreen don't know what to do with the child, it goes to my son, whether the child's in ISS or not. Which is good for them. At least they got somebody. But he talks about how some parents will pull up in the morning, put that child out, slam that door quick, and speed off. Because they don't want the teacher or anyone to say anything to them about the child.
But let the child go home and say something that the teacher doesn't mean. They're ready to come out there and knock somebody.
They're ready to fight.
Right.
So, I mean, we've got it. We have gotten it backwards.
Right, that's true.
And at a time right now, with our economy like it is, I mean, with the education department being almost to the point of being, at one time was going to be taken apart. I just got a message on my phone earlier that our Department of Defense is now going to be called the Department of War.
Right, that's it.
We've got a lot of work to do, and we got to get to work to be able to survive this interesting economic situation with all the cuts that are coming down the pipeline. And prisons are being built every day. For now, it used to be third grade to, was the prison pipeline? No, now they're saying kindergarten. So every one of our children that go in, regardless if first of all, you got to mark against you because you're a person of color. Number two, if you are a behavior student, that's another mark against you. Number three, if your parent is incarcerated, that's the third strike against you. I used to tell the guys that were in prison when I was teaching inside at Berkeley High, I said, do your best I know it's difficult, but parent behind these walls, all that you can. I said, because your kids are they're next generation. I saw one young man where he was in there for gun violence. He was second generation. He had been raised by the system, went in at 14. I think when I met him, he was in his early 30s. So he was an institutionalized, going in at 14, he was a baby. He was institutionalized, and when I was getting ready to leave, he was getting ready to be transferred to a prison where his dad was at. He didn't even know his father. So We got a lot of work to do.
Well, I can piggyback on what you just said with that, which I intend to say that when I was up front. What I've seen over my 29 years is that every visitation I have seen, the main people that gets drugs and visitation is the children. Some parents are bringing the children there, and they come in as babies in the arm. And I've seen a family right from Columbia where the daddy was in, back then when I first started at the jail, Tyrrell County and Hyde County wasn't built. So the jail had a contract with the state to have state inmates. The daddy was a state inmate. She brought the children that were babies in her arms to visitation. Never missed a one. I don't care if it was Wednesday or Saturday. She never missed a visitation, and she drugged them children every single day. And all of their lives, he was in and out of prison, and she did that. Biggest problem with that is when they go to the jails and prisons to see the daddy, they're not just seeing their daddy. They're seeing all the other daddies and the mothers that's in there. And all they see is them pumped up like they on vacation. And they tell the children, daddy's on vacation. So the one thing that I'm going to say, and at the end of the sentencing with my case, I'm going to tell my cousin that out of respect, I want him to just tell his children when the mothers bring them to prison, he is not on vacation. Right. He is in there for doing something wrong, and this is his punishment. And he needs to be telling them, I never want this for you. Right. So please don't follow in my footsteps. Listen at what I'm saying. Don't follow. He needs to be telling that to his siblings because they're going down that road now. Right. It's not a vacation. And all through the jail, that's all you ever hear. Daddy's on vacation. Mama's on vacation.
Don't follow me.
And then that same family I've been talking about, every one of those kids, right on down to the girls, are in trouble. One of them was just killed, from gun violence. And so, it was the parent. I know the father wants to go see the kids, and I know they want the daddy involved, but the children need to know you're not in there because you're such a great person. You're in there because of doing wrong. That needs to be instilled in the kids, too, from an early age.
Yes.
Don't follow me.
Right.
Do better than me.
Right. Kind of that thing that we grew up on. Don't do, what was it? Don't do as I said. Don't do as I do. Do as I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make much sense then, but it makes a lot of sense now.
But I want to add to that, something that bothers me is, and I video a whole lot of funerals. I don't video probably 300-400 funerals because I've been doing this since the 90s. When the pandemic came, I was already videoing stuff, so everybody else had to come up. But the problem I have, you talk about gun violence. They have these glorified funerals. And to me, that's not helping. The preacher got them there. The family need to say, okay, let me use this time to scare them. But now they come up there, they won't see how many people going to join, children going to join church, and they ain't coming back to church no more till it's adult funeral. So, like I said, our black culture got to change.
Yeah.
It's saying we glorify this stuff. And when I had video stuff for, I had some cousins there for a basketball game one night. Made it right there at home and ran in the bridge, and 2 of them got killed. And so I sold the footage to what they want to buy the footage from WRL. So when somebody committed suicide, I asked them about it. They said, no, we don't do that because it makes people want to commit suicide. And I don't understand that. Just because you commit suicide ain't gonna make me want to do it. But the stuff that we are doing, we're glorifying these murders and stuff, and we got to change. It's a lot of stuff we got to do in the black community. Stuff that's going on with Trump and all that kind of stuff, that's all well and fine. But what we going to do in the black community that we can do, because, you're talking about them not educating us, well, then, when we separate the schools, or integrate the schools, they don't want to educate us. So, we might even feel like they're going to educate them then. So we got to do something in the black community. This black culture have got to change.
Yeah. Now let me ask a question, since we kind of dwindled down to a court here. How many people did, with the exception of, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 board members here. Well, maybe I need to vote for my board members too. how many of us are committed to, having another meeting? We can, as I said earlier, this event was funded by Black Voters Matter. So how many of us are committed to having, not as long as this, by no means, a 1 hour meeting that we can try to get young people in, come up with, put some of these strategies that we're talking about, try to put those to work, and try to reach out to our young people.
It would be good to have a youth symposium.
Youth symposium. Okay.
And let the youth invite the parents.
Right.
Good idea. Good idea. Good idea.
And let them do the talking.
Okay. Let them, in other
Parents
words,
do the
let
listening.
them lead the entire discussion. Okay. Do any of us have young people in our lives that we can delegate what we're talking about to? My son is about to be 33 years old. He's not, I mean, he's, I guess, middle age compared to me. He's a young person. And, you know, is able to reach a lot of young people because he's on the basketball court with them all the time, playing basketball. He's in the school system. He's at the detention center. He's in the streets. He invites them over to his house to have conversation. If he had $1 million, he's one of these people that he was trying, now, got his own bills to pay, help a young man out that needed to go to a event. He was trying to figure out how to be able to get him a plane ticket and get him to that event. And we need more young people making that kind of commitment. That's probably, I mean, I question myself, would I have done that?
I think today was a bad day maybe because there's so many funerals.
True. That is true.
And I do know 2 young people that I invited went to the funeral.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Don't they have the peanut festival down here?
Next week.
Is it next week? Oh, everybody. This week.
Patricia got her film thing this week too.
Peanut festival here.
Here.
You're not gonna stop the funerals. You're not gonna
No.
stop.
No.
You're not gonna stop the basketball games, the football games. And
We're gonna have to go to them.
Right. It's no ideal time, really,
No.
because it's gonna always be something going on.
But like I was saying, this made this earlier, it's about getting hold of some of the coaches and see if they can get some of their players, get their players, because coaches has got a lot of influence on the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they do just about anything, you know, the coach asks them to do it is to come to they might not like coming, but.
I mean, coach may have more influence than parents do sometimes.
Yes, but like I said, you can get a hold of a coach, like, you know, Mr. Robinson, whatever his name is, to ask these kids to come to a meeting like this, or some of the guidance counselors, or, you know, somebody that has a lot of dealing with kids, saying that, you know, that we're putting on a program, we would like for y'all to come.
Well, Chris, well, now let me ask you this question. We talked about, some of you were talking about how they're right in the same room together and they're texting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we would probably, I mean, how would we get them to be able to communicate in a larger gathering than this?
Because it'll be so many other kids there.
I don't know. I think they would still be trying to find a way to
Okay,
text each other.
let me,
Yes, sir.
I do know that in our class, it is 100% whatever that you have to put your phone up.
Right.
You do not have your phone. When my kids come in that class, we got a box. every one of them stop, put their phone in the box. Now, every class doesn't do that.
Right.
But ROTC is mandatory that you do it. And if you don't do it, there's a consequence. So what I'm getting at is,
But they being a host.
if we do that and take the situation to them, then they don't have to find a way to get to us.
Right.
We gotta find a way to get it from us to them.
Okay.
And if it has to be in a school setting, it has to be in a auditorial setting, or whatever the case may be, they're already there, and go by the same platform, no telephone, put your phones up, da-da-da-da. We go through the situation, after it's over, we back to work. That's it.
And also with kids, if you take it to them, but also take the stress and the not make it feel like a punishment. Don't make it feel like you're just beating them down and telling them what they're not doing. You have to create a balance of power and allow them a space where they can discuss the hard things, talk about what they're stressed out about. Mental health, there's a lot of different things that kids don't talk about because they feel like they're going to be punished for it. They're going to be talked about because they share these things amongst their peers. And it's just, for kids these days, it's hard. It's hard. And a lot of times they find themselves in compromising situations because they're trying to fit in. They're trying to find friends. They're trying to figure out who they are or where they belong in the grand scheme of things. And they're not really old enough to really have to worry about that right now because you change so much from 12 to 15, 15 to 18, 18 to 21. There's a lot that goes on.
My brother did I'm not gonna say a skit, but he had a lot of young people that come to his church. I don't know how he got them there, but he used to work at Bertie and Hyde, or one of those facilities. He had 2 inmates to come in, and they were shackled from waist, wrists, and ankles, and orange, whatever jumpsuit they wore.
Right.
But they came walking in after everybody was seated, and the quietness, all you could hear was change. And that was an impact.
It's just like at prom season in Elizabeth City. That's one.
Yeah.
They bring and they create the drunk driving scene, but they have ambulances. They have the teenagers who the kids go to school with that are part of the scene, and they're pulling them from the wreckage. There's a child that will play a child that is deceased, and that, like my niece, she's a senior this year, and she was like, that was really scary. Like, those are my friends. And I'm like, right, well, you never know. It could happen. But situations like that bring it home for them, and it makes it more relatable.
Yeah.
And it's easier for them to digest and understand, but then also generate the conversation. And it puts them in a space where they can communicate what it is that they feel, how they feel, what they think, what they want to see happen.
Because it's nothing no worse for me is that we are delivering a message and somebody's on their phone.
Yes.
That's something that just wipes me out. As a matter of fact, I go from 0 to 100. Because I'm trying to get something through to you and you don't care. So we just got to strategize and find a way to make it work.
Yeah. And I think sometimes our young people don't realize how far from one end of the spectrum to the other that gun violence goes. I mean, not just gun violence from where folks are killing each other, how it impacts family. I was 2 weeks ago, I was in front courthouse in Pitt County because I had gone to an organizing training, and I had promised this mother that I would be there. Her son was getting an opportunity to have I believe it's called an evidential hearing. And for those that don't know, I am speaking about the James Richardson case. Well, based on the evidence, he didn't do anything wrong. He just happened to be at the wrong place, left earlier, but he's the one that got railroaded. And has been incarcerated for 15 years, all because of being in the wrong place somewhat the wrong time. And that lost 16 years of his life. So you know, that's one of the things. And then prior to that, we had there was another young man who served 24 years in the prison system, Dante Sharp, for a killing that he did not do. I think it was in Winterville that happened. He served 24 years in prison. Can you imagine the impact on his life, the impact on his family's life of all this? And then the state gives you $50,000 a year for a wrongful conviction.
What's that? A year? Per year?
50,000 per year. That's all you get per year. 50,000 per year for a wrongful conviction.
For 24 years. That's what it is.
50,000 a year.
Right.
So, I mean, that has significant impact on our community. And Mr. James Richardson had, graduated high school, college, I believe was playing ball overseas, had come into Pitt County for a weekend to do a camp. I heard about all the giving back that he was doing in his community. And when he got locked up, that, I think the family carries it on, but gun violence is just on both ends is very difficult. But we have to figure out that behind that, the systemic piece of gun violence is the poverty in our community, the racism, and I think Amy made speak of that earlier. And we're getting ready to now go into a very unique time of our lives in this country, that the cuts in Medicaid and SNAP benefits. Someone said earlier, I'm not going to starve to death. And so gun violence is going to go up. And I think I included also in your booklet the laws that had passed on, now you don't have to have a permit to get a gun. I mean, that's half. We now have it. So
you don't have to have a permit to get a gun now?
Am I not correct?
Or is it concealed?
You don't have to have a concealed weapons permit.
You don't have to have a
concealed weapon.
Concealed, and that'll
Okay,
be
but you still got to have a regular permit.
No.
Neither one.
If starting in December, you're not going to have a concealed weapons, which means you won't have to go to the sheriff's office to fill out the application and to do that. What happens is you can go to the gun shop, purchase your gun in one day if they do your background and it comes back. That's basically
so they're still doing the background.
But if you're 18, you can buy like a shotgun or something like that. You can't buy a handgun.
Okay.
But you can be gifted a handgun by a mother or a father or someone. Someone can go buy it and then gift it to you.
So I can just go out Walmart and fill out a form and get a gun.
And they run your background.
I mean, like a pistol or something like that.
No, not the pistol. You can still get like the shotgun.
Oh, just a shotgun. But you have to have a permit to get a pistol.
Purchase. You got to go through that little background that they do at the
Right. But I don't have to go get.
You're not going to have to go get
as expensive as what it was.
You're not going to have to go get a concealed weapon.
Right.
Wow. And so you don't even have to have any training or anything for that. You just go get a gun.
And then they also passed,
Lord.
They also passed House Bill 193, which allows firearms in private schools, North Carolina puts, our children in danger.
So what is the, I thought he would get ready to, cause they were getting off on just a thought. They thought they were gonna do something to them, so they did something to them first. So now, everybody could go on the thought, so nobody be blamed for nothing, everybody. Oh my goodness.
So, if you get opportunity, you may want to read through these laws. Mr. Davis.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to, you're talking about putting a lot of responsibility on the children to get the parents there. But my problem is reaching those parents that are not really parents. If you don't reach them same children that you're talking about dealing with, they gotta go back home to them. So we gotta find a way to reach those parents. And you said some stuff like SNAP being cut off and all that kind of stuff. We gotta make those parents understand that y'all can't keep on down this same road and raise your children, which the children are raising themselves anyway. But we gotta find a way to reach those parents that are not really parents today.
So you're talking about retraining the parents.
Whatever you're gonna have to do to reach those parents that are not really parents.
I guess
they're parents, but they're not parenting.
I guess my thing is, how do you, well, we had our youth corps program. We have parents bring their kids to the program and say, well, can my child get into your program? I don't know what to do with them. I'm like, I want to tell them, you raised this child, you got them grown, and now that they're a half-grown tree, you want me to break my back to train them.
I'm talking about the younger children now.
You had an opportunity to do it when they were like a little sapling, that you could have easily bent them all the way up and got that person where they.
So we're talking about two different levels. We're talking about children that are in school and children that's not. But the ones that are in school, if we don't find a way to get to those parents, we're just losing a generation.
No.
But we don't want to deal with them because we don't want to talk to them. And that's the same thing. The children don't want to deal with them because they got to go home every day and deal with that. But we know who in our community, how those children are growing up, but we're afraid to say something.
Yeah.
We are the ones that save those children.
Right.
Like I said, I ain't afraid to say something. All you got to do is cuss me out. I can take it. But I want to try to reach that child. And we don't do that. Right. And talking about coaches, you got to be careful about coaches. All coaches, just like our video ball games. I've been doing, like I said, in the 90s, free for the school. And on Friday night, those white coaches, white families, they come out there and watch them black boys play football. But wait, the football season over. They going back to the same old gang banging and stuff, and they ain't got good grades. We let them play, and we know they ain't got good grades. We are our problem. Basketball season, they ain't gonna come, but they don't like basketball season. But ain't no white people coming to the basketball game. But it's stuff that we got control over. Don't let them play. We gotta do stuff on our own.
But sometimes we can't, or the powers that you're talking about, not letting them play, don't have the, what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm talking about the parent now. I ain't talking about the parent.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Don't have the backbone to be able to do that.
No, it ain't. They don't have the backbone.
Okay.
It's babysitting. They don't go to the game and support them.
Oh.
They got free time.
Oh.
It's not. No, that ain't what that is. They don't want to stop them. They want them to play.
Oh.
I went to a meeting when I had stopped in going to the basketball games at the school. Like I said, I was videoing them. I had a child in middle school, so I was doing games about every night for free, running up and down the road. I was at a meeting one night, and the guys like, we're gonna meet about the coach. I get over there to the meeting. The boy there talking about his son made an E, and you still want him to play. He worrying about the coach. My child wouldn't be playing no sports if you were making an E.
That's right.
So we got a lot we gotta do. We in control of a whole lot of stuff. I can't stand it.
I'm gonna
If
say
you don't
this,
have a certain grade, you can't play.
and I gotta go. I'm gonna say this right quick. I'm driving the activity bus. I got a middle school basketball game. One kid gets on the bus, 8th grader, smelling like you know what. And I said, oh no, this bus is not moving until he gets off this bus. I said, who is it? So nobody wants to commit up to it. I said, who is it? I said, okay, everybody. You ain't going, everybody. So Miss Stokes come out there and took him into the cafeteria, found out who it was. So I see him walking across the street to White City. And the coaches gets on the bus, and we waiting. I said, what we waiting for? Nobody said anything. 15 minutes later, he comes back. My mama say I can play. I say, you what? I said, okay. Well, if your mama say you can play, your coach will take you to the game. You're not riding this bus. If he wants you to play, that's up to him. But you're not riding this bus. And I looked at the coaches, and I didn't move that bus.
I know that's right.
And so the coach said, well, I'll take him home. Took him home. And the coach come back smelling like I don't know what the hell or whatever. What I'm getting at is, the mama know, the coach know, and especially if I was the coach, you won't be going no game. No matter what, I don't know if you'll be on my team.
How good you can play.
See what I'm saying? So, us grown folks are not doing our job.
We are. We're not.
We're not. We're letting too much stuff. Well, if they don't play, we're going to have a team. Oh, well.
Okay.
When
We're going to have a team. Give me some players. I don't care if you can't play. If you don't
Right.
smoke, don't drink, come on. We'll learn how to play.
Mm-hmm.
If we lose, we lose.
Mm-hmm.
But us grown folks,
Mm.
we got to do what we got to do, supposed to do for these kids. But we'll enable them to do it. And there's no repercussion.
That's right.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they know right now, if I smell it, we ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
That bus ain't moving.
Mm.
Because I don't have to smell it, and I'm not going to.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Rosa, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
I want to say something. I personally think that the school has a better chance of reaching these kids than anybody because they spend more time there than anywhere else. I know the teachers have their hands full, but like she was saying, these kids don't even leave out of the county, a lot of them, haven't been yet. I think it would make a big impact on them if they could just watch Channel 2. Channel 2 is so informative, and there's like 4 of them that I watch on a daily basis. These kids would get to travel the world without ever leaving home, and they would see what's out there. That might cause them to want something better than what they've seen, because during their commercials, they show different shows about what young kids are doing here in North Carolina, how they're bettering themselves. And it might make an impact on some of them.
Gotta be on the TikTok.
It'll be on the TikTok.
I know. That's what I'm saying. If they could just dedicate some time during the day for that.
Right.
But, and at the rate it's going, they're talking about defunding, public television.
I know.
I mean,
So what are we gonna do in our
Yeah,
community?
what you said your brother did would be a good thing to bring to the kids.
That play.
And that, whatever that little skit was or whatever.
They were real inmates though.
And right, I know. And well, I know you had to get permission for somebody, but to come in or you can just change somebody up like that.
we with
Or either even a Sunday afternoon. You ain't got to worry about the football game. Maybe hopefully not another afternoon service. Something. A Sunday afternoon where maybe the junior ROTC or to get the coaches from all over the rec center, all to get those kids in one place and show them something like that.
Right.
And even if they have to check their phones at the door, give them a number or something, and somebody be responsible for getting, putting a number or sticker on your phones or whatever a ticket or whatever, where that you know where your phone is or, something like that to get their undivided attention and have something like that for the kids.
The best movie I've ever seen involving kids and parents was Forge. Have anybody ever heard of that movie?
I said,
It is awesome.
I said,
And I don't know if it was you, Stanley, that I talked with about getting the kids down here and showing it. I'm not sure if it was
I
you,
don't remember that.
but it has yet to come to, I know I talked to somebody from school. It has yet to come to fruition, and that's been over a year.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll see that.
If you talk about come to your
Yeah.
facility to see
Or
it,
I'll take the movie to them.
Right.
I mean, if they come here, we'll pay. I'm hoping I'm not stepping out of line with my board chair, and vice chair. We'll pay for the popcorn. We'll pay for the soda. If they will come,
That is one awesome movie.
we will pay for it.
What's the name of the movie?
Forge.
Forge?
Forge. I was down in Detroit, and I saw, while we were there at the restaurant eating, I saw another group of men and few boys sitting there talking to each other. And I went over and asked him if it was a Forge instigated movie. He said, no, this is what our church did.
Wow. Our churches have got to get more involved, especially now, because I've always believed what we do as a nonprofit belongs in the church, but now churches need help because, you know, there's a lot of work to be done. I think we have covered everything. I did not see any hands raised.
Stop me.
When I asked the question, was everybody here committed to serving on a committee? You know, just go up.
And maybe
What?
it's a crime.
After all this good talk, and I'm not seeing, wait a second, so you mean to say everybody just, talk the talk and not gonna walk it?
I want to come in.
I definitely can.
Okay.
Your old saying is, reason why I raised my hand is my plate
I
is full.
understand.
My
I
plate is
understand
full
what
of
you-
statements.
I understand with you.
But
And I'm-
he'll be here.
But yes, I will be here, but like
Yeah.
I was telling a cousin of mine, is sometimes you people put so much on the plate
Yeah.
and it just runs over,
It runs over
and you
and
can't
hangs
eat
on.
all this stuff on your plate, so why do you put it on your plate? So that's the reason why I raised my hand.
I understand. I
Stay
understand.
away from buffet.
But there was a lot of friends here that didn't raise
Your
their hand.
life is
I
bigger
know
than
the same story.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
But that's all right. Y'all signed
We're
in,
fine.
and I know where to find
Yeah, the roads are coming.
you. Because we're gonna have to, and I'm not talking about, it will not no ways be as long as this, but just 1 hour. And the way COVID's going, it maybe have to be on Zoom. So I hope everybody gave you their email. And those of you that hung out with us, will get a little bit extra for staying the full time. I'm rushing out this morning. I did not get a chance to pick up the gift cards. So I will give you an envelope to put your address on it, and I will mail it to you on Monday. And this concludes, let's give another round of applause for our panelists that hang out with us all the time. And, oh, it's just my 3 o'clock alarm. Right. Thank you so much. You really, your stories that, and experiences you shared with us really touched us. And actually, I'll be waiting to read books from the both of you. Actually, we'll probably be also, if anybody didn't get a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, please help yourself. There's buttons, there's wristbands, all of it back there. So please help yourself. As we start into the next season of voting, please get out and encourage someone to vote. And thank you to Black Voters Matter for providing us funding to be able to have this workshop today, because without them, we may or may not been able to have the workshop. I'm getting a message right now from Saeed saying, scan the QR code, please, for us here on the table. QR code. Here it is right here. All you have to do is just come out with your phone and just fill the information out and just pass it along to the next person.
Yes,
Thank you. Please, take whatever's left. It does not need to go home with me.
Yeah.
For sure. What is it talking about?
Thank you.
Okay. And thank you, Mr. Beck.
No problem.
Okay, Sonny just sent me a text. He said he's apologizing that he couldn't make it. You still have us going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that way it's on camera. He said that he will bring that the Black Voters Matter, and I hope I didn't say Black Lives Matter, Black Voters Matter, is that, they have what they call the baby bus that tours around. So he's going to bring the bus to the area for one of my future events. And keep a lookout on the website, on my Facebook page. I'm always posting stuff, anything that's going on with Tyrrell County PDC until we can get our page up. Also, we do have, I know of one upcoming event we already have a date for, is we have a author. He is publishing his third book. He is originally from his father is from the Alabama community of Tyrrell County. His mother is from Hyde County, and he was part of, some of you may be aware of a book written by David Stokes. It's called Along Freedom Road. It was about the boycott, the Hyde County boycott. He was one of the young men in that boycott. So he is going to be here doing a book signing on December the 6th. So be on the lookout for that. And down here, right here in Roper. He lives in Raleigh. His name is Dr. Henry Lanville Scott. And we may even have a workshop to work with those folks who bring in someone to do a workshop for those of you that want to tell your story and to publish your own story and publish your book. So, thank you.
What you?
They go back if you need.
Yeah. Dave, at night.
What do I need?
Yeah, this side.
I'm going to try to. Early.
That's the iPad.
Well,
I got one.
Line.